A deserted St. Peter's. Normally this square would be crowded with thousands of pilgrims and visitors at all hours of the day. No more. The threat of a coronavirus outbreak in Rome has taken its toll. Through most of February, life in the city went on as usual, even as northern Italian cities were struck towards the end of the month. But then came the news that Pope Francis himself was under the weather. Forcing him to forego the Lenten spiritual exercises with the Roman Curia in the first week of March.
Purtroppo il raffreddore mi costringe a non partecipare quest'anno. Seguirò da qui le meditazioni.
A few days later, Italian media reported he tested negative for coronavirus. As the virus spread across Italy, though, measures to slow new infections began to be applied in both Italy and Vatican City. On March the 6th, Matteo Bruni, director of the Holy See Press Office, announced the first infected person within the Vatican walls. On March the 8th, the Italian Council of Ministers decreed strict isolation measures. That same day, the Pope led the Sunday Angelus in streaming from the library of the Apostolic Palace for the first time.
È un po' strana questa preghiera dell'Angelus di oggi, col Papa ingabbiato.
At its conclusion, he spontaneously went to the window, imparting his blessing on those who had still gathered in the square to pray with him. The next day, March the 9th, the Italian Prime Minister announced that the whole of Italy would be practically locked down. Movement and work would be limited to the strictly essential. The Italian Bishops' Conference proceeded to suspend all public religious gatherings and masses. Pope Francis and the Vatican adopted similar measures, shifting participation in the Pope's public activities exclusively to the digital sphere. Vatican media began to live broadcast his daily early morning masses from the chapel of the Santa Marta residence, along with the Angelus and weekly Wednesday general audience from his library. On March the 15th, while Italians remained at home, Pope Francis went across the city, taking to the empty Roman streets to pray in front of the miraculous icon of Our Lady, called Salus Populi Romani, protectress of the people of Rome, in the Basilica of St. Mary Major. Immediately afterwards, the Pope made a small walking pilgrimage down what was until now one of the city's busiest streets, to the church of San Marcello al Corso and the miraculous crucifix that saved Rome from a plague in the 16th century. In his prayer, Pope Francis invoked an end to the pandemic, implored the healing of the sick, and remembered the many victims of these days. On March the 19th, the feast of St. Joseph, the Pope encouraged participation in a rosary for Italy, organized by the Italian bishops. It quickly went global.
Santa Maria, Madre di Dio, prega per noi peccatori, adesso e nell'ora della nostra morte. Amen.
Ave Maria, piena di grazia, il Signore è con te.
On Friday, March the 27th, Pope Francis invited the world to join him in prayer. Practically alone, in the rain, in the vast emptiness of St. Peter's Square.
Del Padre, del Figlio e dello Spirito Santo.
But the Pope was speaking to the world.
Preghiamo.
Millions watched, listened, and prayed with him through communications media.
Dio onnipotente e misericordioso, guarda la nostra dolorosa condizione, conforta i tuoi figli e apri i nostri cuori alla speranza.
Ascoltate la parola del Signore dal Vangelo secondo Marco.
The Gospel reading spoke of the storm on the Sea of Galilee. Jesus' disciples were frightened, but he was calmly sleeping. The Pope repeated several times what Jesus told the disciples who woke him. Why are you afraid? Have you no faith?
Signore, ci rivolgi un appello alla fede, che non è tanto credere che tu esista, ma venire a te e fidarsi di te. Ci chiami a cogliere questo tempo di prova come un tempo di scelta. Non è il tempo del tuo giudizio, ma del nostro giudizio. Il tempo di scegliere che cosa conta e che cosa passa, di separare ciò che è necessario da ciò che non lo è. È il tempo di reimpostare la rotta della vita verso di te, Signore, e verso gli altri.
In his meditation, Pope Francis entrusted all people to the Lord through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. The icon of the Protectress of Rome was present in St. Peter's Square, together with a miraculous crucifix from the church of San Marcello al Corso. At the conclusion of the prayer, Pope Francis gave an extraordinary blessing with the Blessed Sacrament of the city and the world, Urbi et Orbi. This prayer included the opportunity for Catholics to receive a plenary indulgence by joining by way of media, praying for the intentions of the Pope and having perfect contrition, as well as the will to receive sacramental confession and the Eucharist as soon as possible. Receiving blessings and participating in the sacraments by way of technology has created many opportunities, but also many questions about what is and isn't possible. Stay tuned as we examine those questions with an expert later in the program.